Selling your property costs. There's more than meets the eye. Stay tuned. We'll cover it all for you.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning, Mark.
Billy boy, Billy Bob, how are you?
Very good weekend, thank you. And yourself?
You got off the Coogee on the weekend.
Out in the east again. I'm finding my new calling. I like it that side of the bridge.
It's the dark side, watch out.
It's beautiful though, nevertheless.
It is. Good weekend?
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. Beautiful weather, great people. Couldn't ask for much more.
I watched the new season of Ozark. So everyone, season 4 of Ozark is out. Get out and check it out.
Yeah, it's a good watch. I've done the first 3 seasons, and I will intend to watch the 4th. But on to today's topic.
Yes.
Selling your home in 2022. It's a big one. A lot of people are actually going through this right now. We're talking to plenty of people in this boat. The 3 main costs of selling your home in 2022. Yep. Number 1, legal fees, conveyancer or solicitor. Number 2 is agent fees. And number 3 is styling. There you go.
Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Luke. Okay, so Luke said, what do REA do in their 5-minute time? They charge a bit of money. They do. All right, so which costs we're going to open up first?
Let's go from the top. Let's go solicitor fees first. So legal fees. REA have put a good little article out on this that we can share the link once this episode's up for you to have a read over. But reading through it, they've broken down the main costs of selling a property in 2022. Solicitor fees is up there. They said you should expect to put away between $800 and $2,000 for their service. Now, their service is, I as a first-time buyer, Mark, found their service a little bit, I was like, what am I paying for here? I didn't realize how important it was and what they actually do.
It's a bit of a monster. And also, I think when you're choosing these guys, you want to choose, I think local is very important. Because not only is it important, for convenience, they've got a relationship often with the local agent. That's important. They understand also local stuff, how stuff rolls. So, for instance, if you are buying, we've got a development in DY, for example, which has got 400 units called Meriton. And if you're a local conveyancer or solicitor and you're helping a buyer buy or sell, you can actually, you've got a lot of expertise in that building because you've done a lot of deals in that building. So local is important for that.
Yeah. Another thing that they talked about in the article is the beauty of having a local agent are sometimes able to pick up whether special levies or things in the contracts are going to be an issue down the line. So, you're just not going to get that service with someone out of area.
Local.
Yeah, always local. Number 2, marketing costs. They talked a little bit about marketing costs. You can really sort of go for gold when it comes to marketing. There are so many options out there these days, Mark.
Yeah, look, I think, you want to get, with marketing costs of your property, I think you want to choose guaranteed bang for your buck when it comes to these costs. So proven track record, that is what should demand your money. So I think realestate.com and domain.com.au are proven performers. They're a good investment. What else in marketing would you do?
Well, to give you an idea, the article talked a little bit about general median spending. Now they reckoned it was ranging between $1,000 to $10,000 range in Sydney, and that obviously depends on the size of the home or the nature of it. But I think rather than trying to choose like what you're going to spend your money on, that should be the agent advising you. And as a part of our, as a part of us helping a vendor, we actually advise where money can be best spent and where it gets best results. So you don't need to be spending $10,000. You can do it a little bit more affordable. And I think you can do it in a way that's going to be a little bit more effective.
Yeah, and I think typically across New South Wales, signboards do work, even though it's an awful feeling when a for sale goes up in front of your home. So I think, but at the end of the day, it's repeat advertising. It's telling the locals the next door neighbours what's happening, because that will spread word of mouth around. And what people don't realise is you don't want to put a for sale up in front of your property board, but that will get the neighbourhood talking. The neighbourhood talking will also help you sell your property, believe it or not. Word of mouth is still the best seller in the world. So signboard, realestate.com domain, floor plan, brochure, they're probably the hot basics. Social media is generally, if it's a weapon of an agent, it's going to cost you nothing because they've got a massive following. So that's a cost for selling when it comes to marketing. Is there any other marketing you'd 100% do for selling that we should include in these costs?
I like virtual furniture, Mark. I really do. I think if you've got the ability to change the way a room looks, and put in, or if the property's vacant, and put in some furniture that gives people spatial awareness online, we're talking, relative to costs like realestate.com, this is the cheapest option to get numbers through your door. So
realestate.com will cost you about $2.5 grand, $3,000 even, depending on what region you're in New South Wales. Domain.
Still there?
You know what? Virtual furniture, Billy, still a lot of people don't know what it is. And it's such a wicked product, because just for anyone who doesn't know, to take you through the ABC of virtual furniture and the cost, it would only cost you about $50 per photo. And what we do as agents, even in rentals we do it, but we will take a room and furnish a room by computer. So basically, we will put all the furniture in there. Our agency doesn't do it. We've got a consultant that does graphic designer that does it for us, but they will actually furnish that room to make it beachy. They'll furnish it to make it contemporary. They'll furnish it to make it anything you basically like. So I think you're right. Low-hanging fruit, definitely well spent. And if your agent doesn't do virtual furniture or doesn't know how to do it, you're with the wrong agent.
Without a doubt. Like you said, low-hanging fruit, you need to be, you just need to be taking that into consideration when putting the property online. It's got so many benefits. Agent fees. Now, for anyone, I'm sure people assume that's probably the one that comes to mind first when thinking of selling.
The obvious one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I think there's still people out there, Mark, that are looking at the commission range on paper and thinking, let's go with this gentleman or lady because they're the cheapest. Now, would you not say that is the biggest mistake you could make?
You don't want to choose your agent based on fee. You want to choose them based on service. What service are they going to offer to get you the absolute best price? Experience is built into that. Is built into good service, database, local knowledge, a lot of that stuff. So, I think it's a big mistake where people, when they get a quote for selling their property, they think a low quote on percentage for the agent is good. Not always, not necessarily.
Yeah. Average commission range, depending on where you're living and, again, nature of the property, is between like 1% and 3%. So that gives you an indication of where it sits. I think most people in Sydney are sitting sort of in the middle there, Mark.
Yeah, I think between sort of 1.5 to 2.5, depending on the value and part of Sydney. So I find that areas that are slower moving areas, areas that are out of metro, they'll charge a bit more. So they'll go towards 2.5, even the high twos. Queensland's traditionally always been higher in fee, for example.
Interesting.
Rental fee, management fee, and selling fee, they're higher. So, yeah.
Okay. There's another one here. So I'm going a little bit off the list here. Lending fees. I don't know too much about this one, but it does go into it a little bit. Basically, just the cost of borrowing money. Now, I do recall spending a small amount of money getting the paperwork through for my mortgage for the first time. Would that sort of be on par, Mark?
Yeah. So, look, lending application fee, sometimes bank valuation, you'll be asked to pay for, but generally between $500 to $1,000 on that. But they're on the cost of selling a house, they will charge you to discharge your mortgage. So if you want to get rid of your mortgage on the property, there will be a cost for that. It's normally under $500 or under $1,000 to do that. But that cost you will get whacked from the bank.
They always win. Just when you think after 30 years you've paid it all off.
Just when you think you're going to get rid of them, it's a cost. Now, another one which people may not realise is tax. It's probably the bigger of all of these things that we've spoken about. Combine all these things we spoke about and times it by 5 or 10 potentially. So you do have capital gains tax on a property if you have not lived in the property. If it's been an investment all of its life, you do have to pay capital gains tax. And capital gains tax is charged on half of your net gain. So say you bought something for $500,000. Say you really at rough figures. Say you sold it for $1 million. Your net gain is $500,000, and half of that you'll be taxed. So on $250,000, you'll be charged your tax rate for that year that you disposed of the property. So you could potentially pay $125,000 tax on your property that you've sold, that you bought for $500 and sold for $1 million when selling a property. So the big one is you must speak to your accountant before you dispose of your property.
Yeah, that's huge money. And we've actually seen, vendors that have sort of not been in a position to sell below a certain mark because the capital gains tax is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I was just talking with someone yesterday about their client disposed of the wrong property. So they had 2 investment properties, and the one that they got rid of with their heart, and they thought that one should go. But with their brain, they should have thought about it and spoken to their accountant and said, hey, buddy boy, buddy chum, which is the best property to dispose of given my tax position. So because they didn't get that advice, it cost them an extra $132,000 in their life because they disposed of the wrong property. So be really careful when you're disposing of property, selling property, to talk to an accountant and make sure you're actually approaching it properly.
Yeah, that hurts. That's a lot of blood, sweat and tears.
Heaps.
On to the next, we've got home styling. What are your thoughts on home styling? I always thought it was a bit of a thing of the past until I saw what work they actually do. And I have to say, it's amazing. It really is.
These guys are super talented. And I think where it comes into play, some people don't have that magic or that foresight as a buyer. So by furnishing it for them, you're giving them that perspective of what it can look like. So I think if a property is vacant, I'd definitely consider it, 100%. And if a property is not presented well, I do find that there's sometimes people recommend styling when it's not really needed.
Right. So we're talking anywhere up to $6,000 generally. We've got a company we use that can give a fantastic quote and really break down what their services are. You can also go with like parts furnishing, Mark. maybe you just do sort of the linen, so you've already got the bed base and things like that, but you're just giving it a bit of a freshen up. But yes, some of these older style marketing tricks, what you would call them, are definitely not gone.
Yeah, so for a bit of a zhuzh, a grand or two, for a complete new furnished two-bedder, about $3.5 grand, and then about $4 to $6 grand, depending on the size of your house, if it's a house, if you're getting it styled. And I do think it's, but I've seen some amazing jobs like yours, but like the one you're talking about, Billy, it's just, cracker.
Yeah. Well, and then sort of one more to top it off. We've got auction fees, paying for the auctioneer if you're going down that route. Yeah,
so generally between $650 and $1,200 for an auctioneer to come, and believe it or not, that's how much they charge to turn up for half an hour. But I do have to say, a great auctioneer works the whole campaign, so they'll be holding the vendor's hand and the agent's hand from day one for 28 days. And a great auctioneer on the day is really a star performer. So I think it's actually a really cheap investment.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of attending a couple of auctions, and some of the results, Mark, you would feel like your money's worked hard for you. You'd have no problem paying that premium to take the property under the hammer with a good result.
We use Vic LaRusso, and some of the stuff that we've done together, some of the magic that we've done together for clients, truly unbelievable. Like, just you could it'd write a very interesting book on it. So it's very worthwhile. A good auctioneer investing a little bit more. The difference between a cheap auctioneer and a quality auctioneer is it can mean 100, 200 grand on your sales price. Massive.
Yeah, almost as important as choosing the agent itself. It just But I think that's most of it.
Yeah, Lisa's brought up a great one. If you are selling, you don't have to come up with the money up front. There are companies that will actually pay your selling fees for you, and up to 20, 30, 40,000 in renovation costs. And they are not expensive companies to use. So they are cheaper than a credit card, these companies.
Another one is realestate.com. I can't speak for domain, but realestate.com allow you to list the property live on their website, zero charge up front. If the property sells, then the charge is made. There is a bit of a premium. I think it's 20% in addition to what it would normally be. But for people that are, a little bit tight on cash at the start of the campaign, Mark, and think, let's not go to realestate.com. Again, we can be talking huge numbers in results at the end of the day.
It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but I urge people to have it with their agent. If they are tight on cash and they want to be tight on marketing, have the conversation that's because they want to be tight on cash, and see what solutions can be offered.
Yeah, because there are some really good solutions, and like you said, it's not crazy expensive. If you're going to put it on a credit card, why would you not consider putting it on, another payment option with a company?
Yeah, and it could be half or a third of the cost of a credit card, so it's worth it.
All right, I think we've got another comment there. List ready. Yeah, see, not crazy amounts.
No. It's awesome.
Any others?
I think Campaign Agent are another great company as well. So no, that's it. That's a show, and everyone have a great day. Start of the week, we're definitely soldiering. I can't believe we're at the end of January now.
It's going quick.
It's nuts how quick it's going. Anyway,
we've just been just day after day just smashing it, and then you look back sort of 2 weeks, and you think, wow, yeah, like I said, we're already at the end of the month.
Unbelievable. All right. Take care. Have a good day. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Have a good day, Mark. And to you.
See you, Billy.